Hey guys, in this video I'm just going to quickly review my new Venum Kontact gloves. So for those of you who've watched some of my videos previously, you'll know that I generally wear my regular hand wraps when training kickboxing. However, I don't always have time to faff about putting these things on, especially if I've got two classes, for example, and I'm training jiu-jitsu and then I have a kickboxing class straight after. I don't always have time to mess about wrapping my hands with the regular hand wraps. So that's when I would generally wear this style, which kind of mimics hand wraps, but they are far easier and quicker to put on. Some of you may remember last year I reviewed my RDX gloves, and I spoke a little bit about why I didn't like them. They weren't very comfortable, the quality wasn't great, and I just felt as though they didn't give me the support that I needed. So because these are falling apart slightly now, I decided I needed something else, quick and easy to just slip on when I'm strapped for time. 90% of the time I would probably still wear my regular hand wraps and just use these for when I am stuck for time. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a closer look at these. So the first thing you'll notice is the Venum logo on the front there. So the logo is kind of black, even though the glove's black, the logo stands out because it's kind of a glossy black, so you can see it kind of catches the light there, which is pretty cool. In terms of quality, it's not too bad. The glove itself is made of a kind of spongy, not a spongy, it's almost like a foam type material. I'm not entirely sure of the exact material that it's made of, but it's kind of soft, it's quite thick. And then you do have a considerable length of wrap for added wrist support, which is just as well because I'm not convinced how supportive the gloves would be without this extra piece of wrap. So you can see on this glove the length of wrap is quite considerable. I would say probably around 2 meters of wrap, and then of course you've got the Venum logo on the wrap there. And the Velcro strap itself is quite thick in comparison, or quite wide, should I say, in comparison to some straps on some hand wraps. I know my Furtex hand wraps, for example, have quite a thin Velcro strap, and at times I feel as though the thin Velcro strap is tugging on the fabric of the hand wrap, and it's kind of pulling the thread and making a slight hole is appearing. So hopefully the slightly thicker Velcro strap, that shouldn't happen as much. And again, in terms of quality, it's not too bad. It's pretty decent. So let's have a look. So you have a Velcro strap here. So rather than slide your hand into the glove, it kind of opens out this way, and then you'll slot your fingers on these kind of loops here, and there's a hole for the thumb. So that obviously goes around like such and just fastens with the Velcro strap. So one of the things I have noticed is you also have this additional piece of, it's almost like a leather piece around the hole where the thumb goes, and I think that's just as well because of the material that the glove itself is made of. I think without this extra leather piece, the hole for the thumb would eventually start to kind of stretch. So I guess this just kind of supports that area a little bit further. The glove itself is extremely comfortable. If you watched my review for my RDX style gloves, similar to this, obviously not as expensive as these ones, but one of the main problems with the RDX ones is the finger holes were just so uncomfortable. They were really tight. Maybe I just got the wrong size glove, but with these, there is no issue whatsoever in terms of comfort. They are extremely comfortable. However, I'm not sure how much actual support in my hand I'm going to get from these. The main benefit, I would say, is certainly the extra padding on the knuckles. Don't get me wrong, you do get a certain degree of support, But like I said, the material itself, it feels quite soft and foamy, stretchy, which is just as well. You've got this extra length of wrap because for myself anyway, the wrist is where I definitely need the most support, especially when I'm hitting the bags hard or hitting the pads hard. So, like I said, this would probably take more than the 10 seconds I was hoping to just slip these on, but certainly don't take as long as regular hand wraps. So, like I said, they are good gloves. I probably won't wear these all the time. I'll probably just stick to my regular hand wraps and mostly use these for if I'm stuck for time. Like I said earlier, if I've got a kickboxing class straight after a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class and I don't have time to faff about putting my regular hand wraps on, then these would be perfect because they literally do take, well, maybe not 10 seconds, but certainly not the several minutes that it can take to put regular hand wraps on. But like I said, aside from that, I probably would just stick to my normal hand wraps. So these are definitely more convenient, and they are definitely more comfortable and better quality than my old RDX gloves. And one of the good things I love about these ones is you can see here you've got this kind of open bit on the palm of the hand. So my RDX ones and also my hand wraps, if I wrap too much around this area and I clench my fist, it can feel a little bit too padded and too bunched up in this area. So it's great that they've left this open. So that just adds that extra element of comfort there. So in terms of quality, Venum, I've had Venum products in the past, and they're not bad quality. They are pretty decent quality. However, I generally wash my hand wraps after every class because, well, obviously they do get a bit smelly. So regular hand wraps, I usually just throw them in a net bag and put them in the washing machine, and that's fine. So I put these in the washing machine for the first time. They've only been in the washing machine once. I don't know whether or not they're meant to be washed, but I washed them anyway. And I'm not sure whether or not you can see there, but yeah. And this is after wearing them once and washing them only once. Maybe they're just not meant to be washed in the washing machine. I don't know. Maybe I should have read the instructions. But what's happened there is pretty much some of the stitching has started to come away on the corner of the piece of fabric that holds the gel padding in place on the knuckles. And if I lift that up, I don't want to make it worse, but you can actually see some of the gel inside there. Yeah, for £16, I think I paid for these. That's not great, and that's what I'm saying. The quality, they're okay, they're pretty decent, but certainly not the best. I would have expected higher quality from a brand as well known as Venum. And like I said, I've had Venum products in the past, and they have been really good quality. But maybe it was my fault. Maybe, like I said, they just aren't meant to be chucked in the washing machine as I did. But you know what? Like I said, for just throwing on when I'm strapped for time and for quickness, these are fantastic, and they're much better than my RDX ones. So how do these feel when wearing them with a pair of boxing gloves? Well, they're actually not too bad. I suppose it depends on how padded the inside of your boxing gloves are, depending on the style and the brand that you've gone for. So if you remember from one of my previous videos about my Fairtex gloves, they don't feel as padded on the inside as my old boxing gloves. So that actually means that I can wear these Venum gloves inside of my Fairtex gloves, and they're actually a nice snug fit. They fit perfectly. However, if I wear my focus pads, now if I'm in class and we're swapping constantly between gloves and focus pads, I wouldn't generally keep taking off my hand wraps or these gloves. So what I would do is I'd take my boxing gloves off and I'd just quickly throw my my focus pads on, just to save time. So with my regular hand wraps, my hands can fit inside my focus pads and my boxing gloves, no problem at all. With these, it does feel a lot tighter. I'm really having to squeeze my hand in there, but you know, I can still manage. But you know, that's one of the things. A couple of guys at the academy I train at, they won't wear hand wraps or you know, these kind of style gloves at all, because they complain saying they can't get their hands in the focus mitts, and yeah, everything just feels too tight. Maybe I just have small hands, I don't know, but so yeah, a little bit tighter to try and, you know, so if I'm in a rush trying to get my focus pads on, I'm kind of having to squeeze my hands in like this a bit more than I would if I was just wearing regular hand wraps. But it's still doable. In fact, maybe that's how that happened. Perhaps that wasn't from throwing them in the washing machine. Maybe that was from squeezing them in the focus pads. Alright guys, so that was just my quick review on my new Venum Kontact gloves. If you're thinking of purchasing these, hopefully this video has given you something to consider beforehand. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you soon in the next video.